Hey, LCC family. This is Pastor Dave giving you an update about our COVID-19 return to normal plan. So we've been talking for a few weeks about how we've been working on a plan of how we're going to be returning back to normal. We have developed 4 phases that are leading us back to normal based upon the spread of COVID-19 in our state and then also in our local county. And so kind of want to walk through with you today what that looks like, each phase of the plan, where we are, and then kind of what will trigger or will lead us into our next phase and some of the changes that are going to take place. So well, along with this video, I will post the plan itself that you can look through. The plan, what we've developed, is based upon guidance that we've received from the state. So in May, the state released their universal guidelines, and we've based some of these things off of those guidelines. Also looked at stuff from the CDC that they've been putting out, as well as the Brown School of Public Health has a website called Global Epidemics, and they were helpful to me in coming up with some of the numbers that we're using as far as when we're going to shift from one phase to the next is based upon case data that's happening in our area. And so the Brown School of Public Health, their website has, you may have seen like maps for COVID-19 where you'll have red being like, things are bad, orange, not as bad, yellow, getting better, and then green is containment, that you're beginning to or have been containing spread of the virus. And so our phases are based on numbers associated with those things. And so most of the ones I've seen on the board, the bar for those things is based on number of cases, average cases per 100,000 people. So the numbers we're using is based on those same figures. Rather than trying to give us like it's so many cases per 100,000, I just took and averaged out what that would be for Rockingham County to reach these thresholds. So I'm going to share with you, I'll put up on the screen here the plan we have, and then I will talk through each phase and what that means and how things are going to be going. The first phase started this morning, Sunday, June 6th. Our first phase, which was the plan to begin this Sunday, was that we're maintaining 6-foot distancing between households. We're asking everyone to wear a mask when they come in and when they exit, but when you're sitting at your seat, you can take it off. We've also asked you to wear we've asked people to wear it while they're singing. The big thing we were asking today was when you enter and exit and moving around the building to wear a mask. We're still continuing asking you to register before coming to a service. Helps us know how to set up the room, and so that would be there. We're continuing the pre-packaged communion that's out on the lobby table. We're continuing our one-way flow in and out of the building. So we've been coming in the main double doors and then exiting the emergency exit door by the stage. We are doing weekly cleaning to clean surfaces and all that stuff. We have a cleaning company that comes in and does that for us. Next Sunday, we're resuming our children's classes with the kids wearing masks. So that's next Sunday we're starting resuming kids classes. This Sunday we took down the plexiglass and we've had more people on stage. We have not had out coffee or snacks. We still have hand sanitizer stationed throughout the building. That will continue for the foreseeable future. We'll just have hand sanitizer. For meetings on site, you can meet in the building with 6-foot distancing. Volunteers are encouraged as needed, and our staff is having more regular office hours in the building. You can continue to watch our live stream at facebook.com/Londonderry Christian Church. Small groups can meet, but encouraging if you're meeting at the church that you are encouraging that you keep 6-foot distance, and meeting outside is recommended. The nursery is available if you have a child and would like to use it, but it is not staffed, and any toys that are used can be set aside so we can clean them after the service. And youth group is meeting on site as well, following all these guidelines. So that's phase 1 that started today. And so phase 2 is based on, the plan is to shift to phase 2 when there are under 100 daily cases in the state and less than 1,000 active cases in the state. So while today began our phase 1 of our plan, we are actually in phase 2. As of the last update I looked at, which was Saturday, Friday. As of Friday, there were 402 active cases in the state of New Hampshire. There were 61 new cases reported on Friday. I believe that the daily average at the time was 50 some odd cases. So we are under the 100 daily cases, under 1,000 active cases. So we are in phase 2 of the plan. So while today began phase 1, officially, we're also in phase 2. You may say, okay, what's different about phase 2? So next Sunday, we'll be in phase 2 of our return to normal plan. The big difference is that we will have normal traffic flow. So if you want to enter and exit the building the regular way, where you come in the double doors and leave the double doors, that's the way we're going to have things. We will not be asking everyone to leave out the side door as we have been. If you choose to leave out that way, you're welcome to. But we're no longer going to make that the way everyone has to go in and out. The other major change is here with the children's classes, which is that children's classes now they can meet without masks. So kids can meet without masks, especially outside. They can be without masks, but even indoors, we can do the children's classes without masks. Is one of the plans with the caseload that we're at. The next change is that we're going to begin to offer coffee again. So we will have coffee out in the foyer and the lobby. If you would like to get a cup of coffee in the morning, we will have that available, and you can take it in with you for use in the building. And I believe that is the only, that's the last big change. So for phase 2, it's normal traffic flow is changing. We'll have coffee available again, and the kids' classes can meet without masks, which will be this Sunday. I mean, if you want to have your kids come to service and you want them to wear a mask in the building, you're welcome to. We're not telling you that you can't. We're just also going to say that you don't have to. So that's phase 2. So phase 2 will start this coming Sunday, June 13th, because of where cases are. So phase 3 will be when we are under 15 daily cases and 100 active in Rockingham County. So phase 1 and 2 were based upon where we're at statewide. And for phase 3 and 4, we're going to focus more on our local county. So the area where we live, where Londonderry is found. So we're basing that on how things are going in Rockingham County. So based on the last data I saw, we are really close to be able to be in phase 3 based on case data. We are under 100 active cases in Rockingham County. And I think we're almost at, or may have been at, under 15 daily cases, but it was only for a day or two. So I want to give it a little bit more time to see. And also, we, to be fully honest, did not expect to be at phase 3 this soon in our plan to return to normal. And so some of the things that will change with phase 3, we just weren't quite, we're not prepared for, as far as some of the aspects of things that we need to be doing based on this phase. So we're working on that, and hopefully in another week or 2, if cases stay where they are, we will be able to fully enter this phase. So with phase 3, the distance between households will be shortened to 3 feet, so we can have more people in the worship center at a time. We're not going to require registration to come to a service. Still ask you to wear a mask entering, exiting. We're going to offer, instead of the little cups, we'll use those until we've used all of them. But after those run out, we will have stations in the worship center where you can get communion. We'll have a piece of bread in a bottom cup and a juice on top, and you take both cups, and that will be your communion for the day. Then also an exchange for phase 3 will be, we'll offer coffee, and if we want to have snacks again, if people want to bring in desserts, treats, whatever to share with the church, then that will be available. Meetings can take place still. With this time, the distance is shortened for meetings and for small groups to 3 feet. And the goal will be to staff the nursery with volunteers. That's part of what we need to work on, is to recruit some more volunteers to help out with the nursery. We're not there yet, and we want to be. So that one we may have to maintain, as parents will staff it on their own until we get volunteers ready for that. So that's phase 3. The big change in phase 3 is that we're going to reduce the distance required between households. And then we'll add the double cup communion station in the worship center where you can pick up communion as you come in. And then phase 4. So phase 4 is basically we've returned to normal, that we're not really going to do much mitigation at that point. And so for phase 4, the metrics we're looking at as far as when to enter phase 4 is when we are under 3 daily cases in Rockingham County and less than 50 active cases in Rockingham County. So that would put us in the green containment zone, where there is less than one case per day per 100,000 people. So less than 3 daily cases will put us there. That may be a bit still, although it could happen pretty quickly. Numbers have been falling pretty quickly in the last month. And so there's potential that will happen. So when we enter phase 4, we will not require distancing between households. If you come in and the chairs are set up in rows again, which will be the plan, and you don't want to sit next to somebody, you can leave space between you with chairs. That's fine. We're not going to mandate that happens, but we're not going to tell you can't do that. You won't have to wear a face mask when we get to phase 4. You won't have to register. You'll come in and out like normal. There'll be coffee and snacks available, and meetings can meet as normal without spacing between. And so the big change. 2 big changes that will take place for phase 4 is basically we're not going to require distancing any longer, and masks will not be required. Doesn't entering, exiting, moving around, sitting, singing. At phase 4, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. And so the goal there is we recognize, or the belief is that we may not get to COVID 0 in our area where there's no cases of COVID. But with vaccinations and other things going on, we believe that it will be contained. And so while there may still be some risk coming to church, we hope by the time we get to phase 4 that it's such a low risk that everyone is comfortable and able to do what we would like to do. And we can basically get back to life as closer to normal without distancing, without masking, and be able to be together as a church family. So again, this data and this plan was put together looking at guidance from the CDC, the Department of Health and Human Services from New Hampshire, and from the Brown School of Public Health Global Epidemics website. If you have questions, you can email me, dave@londonderrychristianchurch.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have and the thoughts and why we're doing what we're doing and the reason behind it. Our goal is to be able to meet together, to do it as safely as we can, but also to recognize that there's going to be a point where we're going to be back to normal. And while COVID may not be gone from our communities, we believe it'll be down to such a low level that the level of risk gathering as a church is not great. And so we can leave behind some of the mitigation efforts we've placed. Some will continue. We'll continue to have the UV filters and the HVAC system. So potentially anything that does get put out into the air would be inactivated by those, would be the hope and the goal. And again, even once we get to phase 4, if you don't feel comfortable coming to church without a mask on, wear a mask. If you don't feel comfortable sitting next to someone that's not in your household, don't sit next to them. Leave some space. But we also want to recognize that there are things that that at that point we're not going to require them any longer. So our goal throughout this, as we've gone through this pandemic, we've had two main motivating factors. One has been our mission is to love one more. And so as we think about how we're behaving as a church, we've tried to keep that in mind of how is what we're doing helping us love others. We required masks because we believe that was a way to show love to each other. It's a way to protect each other. And so we asked you to do that. We told you to do that because we want to love each other. And so as we begin this process of returning to normal, again, we're still taking the approach of trying to love each other to the best that we can. And so again, that's why we're asking you to do the things that we're asking, why we developed the plan the way that it is to kind of stagger us back down to get back to normal. But we're getting there, I'll be honest, a lot faster than I expected. Not as fast as I hoped, but faster than I thought would happen. And I'm excited about that hopefully, potentially by the end of the summer, if not sooner, we could be at phase 4 based on what's happening in our state and our county. So again, if you have any questions, you can email me. So again, I went back to that. Our motivating factor was 1, to love each other, and 2, how can we love our community well? And so we want to be a place that not only loves those who are in our building and who are part of our congregation, but also be loving to the community around us. So how can we set an example of love by doing what we can to best protect each other and our greater community, and show love to them? So we want to model the law of Jesus, to love God and love others. And that's what we've tried to do throughout this. And that's still what we're trying to do now. And so if you have questions, you can email me, dave@londonderrychristianchurch.com. And thanks for checking us out. You can leave us a comment on the video if you have a question or a need, but looking forward to this summer as things become more and more normal, and as we get closer and closer and finally get into phase 4. And so looking forward to next Sunday, having our kids' classes back. And it was great today to see people sitting there during the service and able to see their faces and be able to have that ability to not wear masks and to know that the case numbers are low and continue to get so. So thanks a lot. Love y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.